All right, what's going on, everybody? Hey, Mitch, can you hear me, brother?
I can hear you great. Can you hear me?
Cool. Let me just make sure if I make sure I can hear you on this end. Let me connect the MIDI. Make sure that's working.
Can
All
you
right,
hear me?
try talking real quick.
1 2 1 2 1 2. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So
One
I'm pretty sure
two
your
one
audio
two
is coming
testing.
through, but I may just have to play you through the computer. All right. Can you guys hear us loud and clear? If you guys can give us some feedback in the chat. Mitch, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I can't hear you for some reason. Give me 1 second. I think I
Really?
know what it
Okay.
is. Yeah. All right. There we go. I should be able to hear you now. How you guys doing, man? Mitch, can you hear me, bro?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Beautiful, man. I can hear you loud and clear. Yeah, bro. It was just me on my end, but I just don't want no echo to come out. All right. Hope everyone's doing well, guys. Welcome to the stream. Mitch, welcome, bro. I actually got an introduction for you, bro. So before we get started, I got you to hear this. I gotta say this introduction so people get to know who you are, and then we can go into the sauce.
Oh
So
boy.
you ready for it?
Oh boy. All right.
All right. So, guys, today I'm joined by none other than Mitch, also known as D1 Asset on Twitter. He is the co-owner of PulseChain 2022, the world's largest convention happening in Las Vegas from September 6th through the 9th. He's a HEX OG, having been involved from the very early days of HEX. This guy is an absolute brain, extremely well versed in the technical aspects of cryptocurrency and blockchain. Last but certainly not least, the man is a baller, lives his life one day at a time. We partied together in Miami, front row at Live, watching Gunna. I'm pretty sure you remember that, bro. Great times. I'm extremely excited to have this bull session with you, bro. Everybody, please welcome Mitch. How's that for you, bro?
Bro, I'm flattered. Thank you. That
Welcome to
was
the
awesome.
stream, man. I appreciate you for coming on, bro. Thank you so much for taking the time. Honestly, dude, these streams are pretty much a passion for me, dude. I love just kind of getting on here, talking to friends, and honestly, bro, just educating the community, man. So thanks for tuning in, dude.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what it's all about because there's very few channels out there that actually give it how it should be. I mean, just don't overcomplicate it. Just start from a couple steps and just go from there.
Facts.
Just
No,
don't.
yeah, I mean, trust me, bro. This
Yeah.
this show is far from perfect, but we're definitely getting there, man. So, yo, Mitch, look, talk to me, bro. I know we got PulseCon 2022 coming in soon. We're actually 73 days away. Bro, talk to me. How did that come into fruition for you?
So at the beginning, I mean, I didn't go to the Hex conferences, the first one nor the second one, but I came across Tony, which is T Money from Freedom TV. And while I was in Vegas, he told me, like, hey, Mitch, we're trying to put in a conference together. This was right around last December 2021. And I told him, bro, like, you can count on my support, and there were not that many guys who were putting in their hat in the ring. You know what? I trust you. Like this gentleman actually doesn't even get the credit for what he deserves. He's always been the guy in the back of the scenes, putting the Crypto Spa book tour together, you name it. I mean, these guys don't even ask for attention, but yet they're the backbone of what so many things that are happening within not only from the Hex community, but also coming into the Pulse community. But I told him, like, you know what, let's make it happen. So we just it became from us an idea, and then from an idea to just getting the whole convention together. And I mean, it's been quite a hell of a ride because there's so many things going on. You're not dealing with just one coin; you're dealing with every single coin in the ERC20
Very true.
space. So we're coming in with so many guys that are just like, wait, they might not like Hex, but it doesn't matter. I mean, they're having their own things putting together, and they're just trying to make it happen. But they need a home. They need to find a home where to go, and I think PulseCon is going to be the home for them. You know what? This is your place to come in, and you're gonna feel like family here.
No, absolutely, bro. I love what you guys are doing. I know you guys have Richard Hart speaking at the event, right?
Correct. He already I think that's what T Money told me. Like, he's gonna be there digitally, not physically yet, but never know.
You
But
never
yeah,
know. That's very true.
he already committed to talking to in a section within the conference.
That's gonna be really cool, man. Look, I want to actually say some of those sponsors that you guys have out there. I know you got Mintra, freedomtv.info, you got PLS Speak, you got Hedron, Maximus, Love.io, Mad Energy. I mean, you guys have a lot of sponsors out there. As far as speakers go, like I mentioned, you have Richard, Mitch Lowe, who's a co-founder of Meta Entertainment, co-founding executive of Netflix, and the former president of Redbox. Pretty badass. You got George Wentz, the director of Mad Energy, and Foster Gamble, researcher, co-writer, and visual designer of the documentary Thrive. I actually love that documentary. A buddy of mine told me about that one back in the day. But that's really cool, man, that you guys have locked in some really valuable people to
Yeah.
come out there speak. And I mean, we're still 73 days away, so I'm sure you guys have a lot of things that you haven't even mentioned to the public yet.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on in the back. That's just what we can actually show on the website. I'm not in
Mm-hmm.
charge of that website, but I get my inside tips and what's going on later on just in the back scene. But I mean, halfway through the ticket sales, it's just gonna we're just gonna keep on ramping it up because it just keeps
Yeah.
more people coming in, and they're like just spreading it's just spreading like wildfire with among the people. And I still haven't brought my own people in here yet because they're the ones actually buying the heck out of Hex right now. So eventually I'll get around to them, my whole list, so they can come over.
Facts.
But yeah, there's not only the speakers, but I mean, we're just gonna throw a party for everybody and just make everybody feel like home.
Yeah, there's nothing like a convention, man. And it's funny because I know you mentioned the gentleman who helped you, set up PulseCon. What was his name one more time?
Oh, T Money, Tony.
T Money. Yeah, so T Money, I mean, if it wasn't for him, I don't think we would have met because we met actually because of the Crypto Sparbook tour. When you guys were down here in Miami, I know a bunch of the guys were here.
Right.
And you guys did a party at the mansion in Miami, and they invited me out there, which is really, really cool. But to my point, bro, it's about those events. Like, as a normal person, I was not connected at all with anybody from the Hex community, other than Twitter and here and there, but it never felt personal. It wasn't until that I went to this event that you started to meet people, and it wasn't just a coin anymore. It became a community. It kind of gave you the full experience of what it was like to be a part of Hex, and to be anticipating Pulse Chain, right? As a sacrificer myself, bro, kind of just feeling that camaraderie and just talking about the entire thing, bro. It's pretty cool, man. So yeah, bro, I mean, if you
And
haven't looked into it, check it out. You're gonna say?
oh, and to your point, I mean, it's just like business and doing everything else in the real life. It all comes
Mhm.
down to networking. It all comes down to that because you just don't know how many people are in other parts of the world that have the same vision as you are. So coming
So
into
true.
these events, you're just surrounded by people, and that might sound cliche, but I mean, we're making history right now, and that sounds like, wait, what is he talking about making history? But literally, can you imagine if the Bitcoiners back in the day were having these little meetups? They weren't. They were just out in their own computer doing their own thing, cyberpunks, and just keeping it anonymous. But can you
Yeah.
imagine if these guys were around networking back in the day in 2010, 2011? That's where we're at right now. But with so
Yeah.
many other cryptos, especially Hex and Pulse Chain. But you need to be surrounded by people that are in the same, uh, not the same path, but the same mindset because everybody has a
Definitely.
different path. And when you came along with us, I'm like, hey, this guy is pretty knowledgeable about what he's talking about, and that's you don't hear that a lot. I mean, young guy that knows what he's doing.
Dude, it's
Props to
funny,
you,
like,
man.
I met Kareem, and he was just like, "Bro, come out." I met, his name, was it? It was, Franklin. I met Franklin. Franklin was like, "Yo, bro, pull up." I picked them up from his house. They invited me out. Honestly, it was just super cool. I met Abic, Patrick. I met Super Hex too. And honestly, bro, I was just there because I knew a buddy from the club, and he was like, "Yo, come through." And honestly, bro, it was a really cool time, bro. Everything happens for a reason. I'm really happy I got to meet you guys out there, and most
Yeah, glad.
importantly, bro, that we get to be on this journey together, bro, because this is really exciting, bro. PulseCon 2022 happening in September, bro. And look, kind of uh, you know, stemming away from that, dude, I really want to get into you a little bit, bro. I mean, you don't look. I'm gonna be honest. You don't have to get too personal as much as you want to say, bro. I know at the end of the day, it's 100% up to you what you decide to disclose. But dude, I have a few questions for you. I wanted to ask you, man, like, what did you do before Hex? Were you in cryptocurrency already? How did that look for you?
Shit. Can you hear me? I think my
You're
connection
clear. I
just
hear
cut
you
up.
here. Yeah.
So before Hex, I was all into a couple cryptos. Now you're asking me like if what cryptos was I before Hex, or what was I
Yeah,
doing
or like
before
what'd you
crypto?
do? Yeah, like what cryptos or like what'd you do? Like just naturally, like where were you working? You feel me? Like before you found out about Hex, before you found out about Richard.
So I started my business when I was like around 17, and I was already like doing my own thing. It was when I was 14. But just long story short, I mean, I already had a business established after I came out of college. And fast forward years later, like this was like at the beginning of 2017, one of my mentors was using this digital payment called Bitcoin. And he was, I'm not going to name his name, but was like a bookkeeper, like a bookie. I don't know what they call him, but they do sports betting.
Yeah.
And he had international clients, and he was always like sending out money through Europe, Asia. And I was always like, wait, how do you do it? Like, are you just sending it through a bank or what? It's like, no, 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 I use Bitcoin. I'm like, what is this digital Chuck E. Cheese token that you're talking about? Because what it, but I mean, I had to sit down and learn because he obviously makes a lot more money than I do.
Right.
So I'm not the type. I'm not gonna pretend that I know everything, knowing that this guy's more successful than I am. So I read up on it and just started buying. I'm like, man, this is, and that's when the 2017 bull market started going in full effect. Started buying when it was like $800. I started getting acquainted with, getting more familiar with Ethereum, buying it at like what, $60 each, and then Monero. Those were my top
I
three.
remember those days, bro. I have a post on Instagram when Ethereum was
Nice.
like at $80.
Yes.
Bitcoin was like at 1,000. It was beautiful, bro. It was super good. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So we were just getting right there, right, like right around 2017 June, around there. That's when we started like just going a little bonkers. You start seeing from Bitcoin going to all the way to 15, 16, 17, and then going way over that. And it got too heated that, I mean, your first bull cycle, you're like, you feel like you know everything. So and then everything collapsed in 2018, and then that's when you started realizing, oh, there's cycles into this. Okay, gotcha.
Hmm.
But just a little bit, back up a little bit. The reason I got into crypto, not because it was my mentor, but it was, I mean, my parents came from Mexico, so like, you know what, the money that they sent out back in the day in the 90s, my dad had to almost work 1 or 2 days free for these fucking leeches. I'm sorry, I'm cursing,
You're
but
good, bro. This stream is 100%. You're good. You can say how
because
you can
I
talk
curse
however
like
you
a
want.
sailor too, yeah.
Yeah, you're straight.
Uh, so my dad would work 1, 2 days for free, literally, just to pay these middlemen their cut to send out money to our, pretty much where our loved ones live. And it's like, hey,
Yeah, your family.
that's disgusting. They did what they do is just move a couple of digits here, digits there, and then that's it. They make billions out of like hardworking immigrants. That really disgusted me, and I was like, no, the crypto just eliminates that. I know we're not there yet, but eventually this is gonna be a method of payment that, you know what, you don't have to rely on nobody. Nobody. They can call you terrorist, a criminal, or whatever. Hey, man, some people actually want to send out money for their elderly parents, to take care of some medical problems back home. I don't care. Like when it comes down to like helping out your family, you can just, I mean, who cares whatever everybody says? I mean, you're gonna do it
Hey, bro,
regardless.
quick question. I know you mentioned that you came from that you did business when you were 17. Did your parents teach you about business when you were growing up? Like, were they teaching you about, saving and investing? Was that something that you had in your upbringing?
No, they never. Well, they just told me save my money for the most part, work hard. But I mean, I had to. I mean, no disrespect to my parents, but they taught me really good principles, morals, but they're not going to teach me how to become a millionaire, unfortunately, because they were not that at that point. So I needed to just get knowledge outside of what my parents were giving me, and that's where you should go and learn from the people that actually have what you want. Because if
Facts.
you don't do that, I mean, you're gonna get stuck. And it's no offense to your parents, they literally pass the baton to you, but you have to be you have to know learn how to learn. Like you have to know
Mm,
when to sit down and just okay, like I need to drop my ego if I want to pick up my bank account. You
that's a
have to.
good one.
You
Nugget.
have to,
I
because I
like
mean,
that.
bro, I grew up as a child broke, man. Like my family is poor. Like when I came up, when I was brought up, I'm like I knew what hunger it is. When
And
I
so
did
at
sport,
17,
yeah,
And so at 17, right? Not to cut you off. So I got 17, you have a business, you work through that business, you meet your mentor puts you onto cryptocurrency. And then how far before so when did you find out about Hex? Well, what came first? Was it Richard or the Hex? Like the chicken or the egg? Was it Richard or the Hex? What came first?
so when I was following my mentor, I
Hmm.
was he obviously didn't know too much of the technicals behind it, so I had to like learn from somebody from within the crypto community, and that guy was Roger Ver. I was just trying to get as much as possible from what he was saying, and then at that time he was just throwing punches at the Bitcoiners. So because he was getting Bitcoin Cash to be launched,
Yeah.
but I started with Roger Ver, learned a lot from him, and then when I came across Richard, he was debating Richard, him being the keeping like Bitcoin how it is, or I don't know, he went with the Segwit guys, I think, and then Roger Ver was having siding with the miners, I think. And that's when I was like, wait, this guy, he seems like he knows what he's doing too. So
Yeah.
that was my first exposure to Richard Hart through the Roger Ver. And then from then I just started following. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get the because I'm like that. I want to get the best pieces, what works for that person, and then just kind of combine them to just do it on my own way.
Yeah, that's
And
powerful. I realized
yeah,
that like you saw someone that knew what they were talking about, and instead of just being like, "Oh, my mentor knows everything," you were open and receptive to like new information, and you were willing
correct.
to change that paradigm. That's cool, bro. I respect that a lot, man. And so you find out about Richard, and then what happens then?
So I found out about Richard, and then around that time, I mean, we're just going into a full bear market, the last one,
Yeah, that was like
and
2018, 2019, right?
2018, 2019, correct.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were just, I was just following him along because the thing about Richard is that he was already successful before crypto. So what does he have that he's actually like? You look at everybody else, like everybody else is out to scam you, to defraud you because they're not rich. This guy's already rich. Why does he need your money?
Mm-hmm.
And then plus he started with the self-help books, and I was all about that because like, hey, you can't really move around if you don't have your mindset correct, like in the right spot. If you don't have your morals or principles aligned, you can't really do much. You're just building on quicksand. If you don't have that foundation, you don't have anything. You can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have that, you're just gonna fall for anything. You're just gonna lose all your money later on. But so I was so intrigued by Richard's self help videos and just learning a lot from him, not just in crypto, but in literally like improving your life. So
Nice.
from then on forward, then he started talking about like launching his own token, and I'm like, oh well, this is gonna be really interesting because this is somebody that puts his money where his mouth is. All
Right.
right, so we and then for the people that are thinking right now, not to get too much of a tangent, but Hex was delayed a whole year. So if Pulse Chain has been delayed for this long, it
It
doesn't
hasn't even
matter.
been a
Like
year.
it hasn't been a whole year.
Yeah.
Like the sacrifice phase, yeah, it was been almost a year. But if you
That's
look at it this way, he's building something that I much rather him taking his time than later on finding out like, hey, somebody got exploited for this amount of money, whatever. Because Hex, I mean, it took a whole year to develop. So,
No, the guy's
and I
covering his
appreciate that.
bases. I think he's doing it the right
Yeah,
way. Yeah, that's
yeah.
big
So I
facts. That's
appreciate
cool.
that a lot. I appreciate that a lot because people were putting in their money in here, man,
No
and
facts. I mean,
keeping.
he definitely understands. He knows the responsibility of someone coming in and putting a sizable investment into that project. So I'm sure he wants for it to be perfect. And I mean, following up Hex 100% uptime. You feel me? Immutable code.
Right.
Of course, the guy made it. He made it. What is this? Like, it's not, if it's not open source, it's private, right? He made the code private, so nobody could
Right.
take his creation. No, the guy's a champ, man. So you figure out Hex is this thing, bro. And so tell me how you processed the sudden wealth syndrome, right? I know Hex comes out, you're excited, or actually, before you get into the wealth part, tell me how the community felt at first when when the coin launched and it dropped in price.
Oh
How
boy.
was the community?
So everybody lost their marbles at the beginning because even though Richard said like, "Hey, like everybody, here's a similar launch of what EOS happened. Don't go in really hard." He tried to mitigate that, but
He
this
was
stuff
setting the
gets
right
some.
expectation. He set the
Yeah,
right
yeah,
expectation. Okay.
exactly. And I remember I heard that, but I was like, "Screw you, Richard. This stuff gets emotional, man."
Yeah.
I'm loaded. I want to go in. Like this stuff gets emotional. So he says like, hey, there's so much pent up demand at the very beginning. So that's why everybody went bananas at the first day when just they launched, having their expectations to, I mean, astronomical levels. And then the price just went really, it took a really hard dump. So after that point, a lot of people were like, oh yeah, we messed up. So back then we had a little bit more humility. Right
Yeah.
now, since the community is so diverse, everybody's at each other's throats. There's a lot of drama, which it's totally understandable. You're putting in people that have so many different ideas, and they're just, I mean, if they find each other on Twitter, they're gonna spar amongst each other. But it's just
Hmm.
words. But at the very beginning, I mean, everybody knew. It's like, yeah, we messed up. We messed up really bad. We put in a lot of ETH. I mean, I put a third of my whole stack in there, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh damn, yeah. I'm gonna do my rest on the 2/3 later on because that was not the good call.
Got you, bro. So, all right. So, I mean, market price dips, but then ultimately, I mean, a few months later, you're seeing price start to rally, and you guys start to get excited, I'm sure.
Right. I mean, it
So
all
how
worked
how did
out.
how did that change? Like, tell me how people went from like when the price went down to when it started going up. Like, how did the community respond? Like, I got in around like pre big payday, so like day 200 and something, I think, or actually not even at day 100 and something. I was more or less around like in around
180,
the
yeah.
beginning, but not like that early. You feel me? You were
Yeah.
previous to day one, but I mean, yeah, like tell me how that kind of changed. I mean, I know when price started going up for me, I was excited. I was happy as hell. But like, I know that since you were there and you experienced that dip, what did it feel like for you and the people that you were talking to?
Well, you feel pretty dumb at the beginning. You feel pretty dumb, but it's all about like, all right. So Richard was doing streams all along, like, hey guys, dips are in the game. Like people are exiting because they want the quick flip. They want just their 3x to 4x, thinking they're smart, and then later on they start to like really like, hey, I missed 100x,
Yeah.
but I sold it on the 5 and 7x.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the common mistake, and I don't know if that's gonna happen with PulseChain, but it would be similar. Like you're gonna see a really price really high, and then it's gonna drop heavily. I mean, it's nature of the market. People, that's
Yeah.
what happens. People
Also, I
wanna
think people too, like
people
when they
wanna
were coming
flip their
in
two
from
x, 3x.
yeah, like when people come in from like the traditional markets, like stocks, like you don't see that happen. You feel me? If
Right,
something drops 85%, Papa, we're in a recession. You know what I mean? Like
right,
everybody's going crazy. But when you're in crypto, you almost expect it, right? I was talking to
right.
Fashion Coder last stream, and we were talking about that and how like you almost expect that to happen. And so all right, so the real question I had for you was, all right, so now you guys start to make some money. Your investments are going up. You guys really start to see the effects of the market. Bro, did you get hit with like sudden wealth syndrome? Was there anything that you struggled with? Like I know Matty Allen talks about how like when you become rich like really really fast, you have that syndrome, sudden wealth syndrome, right? Did you experience that? Did that happen to you, or were you ready for it?
I was kind of already seasoned behind. I was already. I mean, I already had like a strong mentality behind it, but you do
Hmm.
come across your. I mean, it's normal, man. It's normal. I mean, when Hex hit 45, 50 cents and I saw my account, I'm like, whoa, like I gotta calm
Yeah.
down and just humble myself a little more. I never stopped working. Like I still have my business and I'll continue to go and just run major profits in what I do best. So when I saw my account, it just kept on motivating me even more, and
Oh,
even more, because I'm already to a point like, hey, I got a business. I don't need to sell none of this. And if I would do want to sell it later on, it's just gonna be just taking off a little bit of the icing and then just putting the rest to work. I don't need
right.
it. So for me, it was like, yeah, I remember I had this talk with my dad. We were sitting down at a very expensive restaurant here in San Diego, and I told him, check this out. And then he was the one that really almost fell off his chair. And I told myself, but do you remember when we didn't even have anything to eat back home?
Yeah,
Remember that?
that's
Do you
crazy.
remember that? Like, I am not going to blow this off and be a complete idiot and just not forget about where I came from and then my hard work that I put in for so many years. This is like an accumulation of so many years of hard work. Yeah, of course, it went through the moon and then just broke the freaking moon, but at the same time, it's like, hey, this is normal. It's crypto.
Yeah.
Just how I see a lot of people like, oh, this the price is gonna die and all this other stuff. Just as you think that way, it can also explode in your face in value because nobody's here yet. Nobody's here yet.
Mm. So that's
So
cool. You know,
yeah.
it's crazy that you think that way, that you feel like nobody's here yet. And there's so many people that feel like, it's over, like the rally's over, right? I mean, I can't help but keep reiterating to people, like, and comparing price to Bitcoin and Ethereum. I love Gerardo's Look into Hex.com, bro. That website, amazing, bro.
Oh,
It's a
that's gold.
beautiful
Yeah.
website. So amazing. It's filled with such great information. I love checking it out. And whenever I show people the ROI chart, I'm like, dude, look where we are. You feel me? Like, look at where we are. And I think I
Right.
forgot who it was, but someone posted the other day that buying right now is like buying Ethereum at pennies because of the way that the chart moves, or the way that the chart has moved in connection to the way that Ethereum had moved when it first launched back in 2015, and then it made that it made its run up, almost hit 1,000x, and then came back down. Um,
Right.
but we hit 1,000x, right? Hex hit 1,000x, so that's powerful, bro. I mean, that's really cool. And I mean, so you have, all right. So now Hex hits 45 cents. I'm sure you told people. Was there anybody that didn't listen? Was there people in your life that just didn't believe in it?
Oh, of course, my dad was one of them.
Oh,
He
really?
was the yeah, he was the one of the biggest ones. I was like, hey, he's super old school. He told me, hey, if I can't hold it, it's not real for me. All right.
Got you.
I'm like, do you
Mm,
understand that everything, the payments are done digitally? They're not physically anymore. Do you realize that? So from there, I mean, see, here's the thing. This is how I got my dad. I brought in my mom, put in 2,000, made 92,000 out of that at the peak of the market, and then she showed that to my dad, and my dad's like, "What the hell?
He's like, I got to.
What kind of scam is this?" And that's totally understandable because
Yeah.
everybody has a default a mentality that, hey, this is just too fast, too quick, and fast never lasts, obviously.
Facts.
So
Yeah.
I can see his skepticism, but my mom is an accountant, so she knows numbers. So
Hmm.
all I had to do with my mom is that, hey, let me tell a little bit about how this works. You already know numbers, so I just had to bridge some of the understand, like some of the knowledge in between, and then she connected the dots. She's like, hey, let me get some of that. But
That's cool.
yeah, there was more friends that I told them, and they just didn't pull the trigger. But guess what? They pulled the trigger right at the top of the market. And
Mm,
I told them, bro, this can go to $1, $2, or it can just come down hard. Are
right.
you willing to accept that? A lot of them said yes. And then later on, they're starting calling me. It's like, hey, why is it going down, man? I'm like, what did I tell you?
Yeah.
Each
No, and
top,
that's okay. Once again,
yeah,
it's a feature. It's not a bug, right? It's
right,
like it's a part of it. We understand it, but they got to go through it, right? Because you went through it back in 2018. You feel me? You were in from 2017, very similar to my story. I got in 2017. I put in like
okay,
4K and in well, like with money that I got from college. And then when I got into like 2017, that bull cycle, my stack turned into like 14,000.
Nice.
21,000, and then it came back down to 4, and then I broke even. And I was like, okay, wait. Something's going on here that I need to understand, right? Like there's
Right,
something going
right.
on here that I need to and that's where I kind of got back into it. So they're going through their process, and that's respectable. Now, bro, I
Absolutely.
want to kind of get into Hex a little bit more, and I want to ask you this question. So, like, when did you really understand the importance of Hex shares? Did you get that very early on from day one, or was it something that it took you a little while to understand? Like, oh, so this is what a TShare is.
Oh no! If somebody tells you that they knew what a T-share was, the first couple months, they're lying. They're lying, because
Yeah.
that wasn't the case at the very beginning. At the very beginning, the T-share, yeah, Richard was explaining it, but it didn't really click because it wasn't paying much, hardly anything. It wasn't paying that 6 hex per T-share. It was like 1 or 2 or something like that. It fluctuated
Mhm.
like really low. And back then, each hex was worth nothing. Like, but as soon as I knew what I was dealing with was when the Godwell showed up in 2020 of April, May, somewhere around there. That's when you're forced to know what are you holding, because this
Elaborate
person
on that. What
knows.
happened with the
Yeah.
God Wheel?
So the Godwell, oh, it's probably the second. I need to check back on that, but is the second biggest holder of
He
hex.
has one of the bigger wallets, right?
Yeah, aside from the OA, he's the second one.
Mm-hmm.
So he's the one who actually has bought heavy in the past. So this person actually, I think he put in like a 10,000. Don't quote me on this, but I think he put in a 10,000 ETH market buy, and that just exploded. So whatever you had before April of 2020, it just ran to 40, 50x.
Crazy.
Here's the kicker. It didn't correct it back there anymore, like at all. It never went
And the
down there.
price never went back. Yeah.
Never went back. Never. So this can happen again. You just don't know. You just don't know when. And these whales have a lot of money in USDC as well. So when somebody tells me, it's like, Mitchell, why are you so bullish? Why are you so bullish? The price is going down. Bro, when that happened, this is what actually came. A whale like that made a splash and just completely changed a lot of people's lives. That's when I knew, it's like, hey, I'm forced to understand now, what is it that this person know that I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So I went in and then started talking with the Germans back in the day,
Yeah.
8-Bit, Patrick, and then they were kind of like telling me the nuts and bolts, and I put everything together. It's like, oh, okay, so the T-shirt is kind of like what Wales says. It's kind of like your money printer.
Mm-hmm.
So how many do you want to buy if Hex goes to this amount of money? Each one is costing, like, let's say you have a how Kareem says it, a T-shirt will be worth $1 million in a couple years.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine how much is that T-shirt's gonna paying you every single day. Imagine.
Imagine, yeah.
So right now you can buy it at $1,000.
I
It
think
was at
even
ten
less than
thousand
that.
dollars. It was at 10. No, it's going up right now, man. It's the it's your stream pump right now.
Ah, let's check it out.
It's
Let me
pumping because
see.
you're streaming, bro.
For real. HexDailyStats.com. Let's check it out, bro. Let's look at that price real quick.
Yeah, of course.
Let's see where it's at.
And it was at ten
Sure.
thousand dollars at the height of the like 45, 50 cents range per hex.
All right. Turn this on. Cool. So we're at Hex Daily Stats. We're at almost 5 cents now.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is because of the stream. Yeah, we just hit. We're back at around $1,000 a T-share, and we're pretty low.
right.
Yeah.
And we got to a point that it was at the height of the market. It was at $10,000. So
Mhm.
imagine you can get something right now to $1,000, and then
That
it's
could
just
eventually be worth a million, and it's
it
printing
is
you.
going to.
It's
It
printing you
is
money,
going to.
literally.
See,
Yeah.
here's the thing. Like, we can say this kind of like, it sounds outrageous, but it's just math, man. If it gets to that point, they're just getting scarcer and scarcer. It's far more scarce to get a the T-shirt is more scarcer than a Bitcoin. I think I forgot how many, like 17 or 18 T-shirts, 18 million T-shirts, and then there's what, 21
Yeah.
million Bitcoins,
Yeah.
something like
Some
that.
number like that. Something like that. Yeah.
But this stuff is gonna pay a lot in a couple years. and you can get it for $1,000 right now.
That's absolutely insane,
Bro,
man. And so
today's my
you gotta
birthday, and then I
really.
didn't even go to Vegas because I put in all that money I was gonna throw down in Vegas, and I put it back into the HEX. This was a
That's
couple days
badass,
ago.
man.
I'm like, screw the celebration. We can always celebrate another day. Screw that. Like I'm not gonna get these prizes later on.
Well, bro, happy birthday. I mean, we can't go out without saying you happy birthday, guys. Put happy birthday in the chat for Mitch. Make sure you
Thanks,
guys
man.
let him know happy birthday. No, of course, bro. And thank you for taking the time, bro, on your birthday to be on here.
Oh, of course,
And
man.
so you finally understood the value of a t-shirt. You started doubling down, right? You started buying more t-shirts, acquiring more t-shirts. It became more important than acquiring the HEX, right? I have a couple of students, so I'll tell you a little bit about me, bro. I mean, I have a community. It's called
Yes.
Cash Flow Amigos. And you know, it's a free group chat, and so you can join it 100% for free. I just want to build a place where Hexicans, Pulsicans, whoever, they can come in, talk, and learn, and just get a good place to just, you know what we're talking about. I've been in the industry for in crypto for like 4 almost 5 years now, and then I've been in Hex specifically, like understanding it for around two, like a little over two.
Yeah.
And so, bro, I love just filtering the information and giving it to people. I always tell them, yo, jump in there. And I can't stress enough the importance of what it is to own at least one TShare. And, you know, right
Right.
now I set a goal for people. I'm like, yo, own 5 to 10 TShares. If you have a little bit more money, 15 to 30. If you can own more than that, bro, do it, because you don't understand the value in those t-shirts. You're going to understand the value in a t-shirt until people only talk about B shares. That's what I
Right.
usually say.
Right.
You're going to understand how valuable a t-shirt is when people could barely or only are able to talk about, hex shares in terms of billions of shares, not even trillions. And so, yeah, man, I mean, it's a crazy concept. So you start to understand hex shares a little bit better. You start to double down on that, and then what kind of proceeds after that, bro? After you got into hex, did that kind of take you into any other business ventures? Is that where you kind of got a little bit more excited about
Yes.
about cryptocurrency? What happened then?
So, what I did after Hex, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much.
So after Hex, I mean, I already knew that was already working. I mean, I don't have to worry about it. Yes, I
Hmm.
do have a ladder and everything, but it's just what's next? Like, what I started doing is that I started when you're networking with all these guys, you start to realize, bro, we don't have any infrastructure here in crypto.
Mm.
We don't have any infrastructure to get into Wall Street. So I'm not gonna name any names because I'm under a contract, but we're putting in certain products in Wall Street that that needed to be funded. So I put in a lot of money into that to make that happen, because later on it's kind of like putting certain products that's going to allow a lot of people, your regular person, to go in and just buy it off a broker.
Right.
So it's kind of like Bitcoin, grayscale, kind of like
Yeah, you guys are capitalizing. Yeah, you're capitalizing on that
so
opportunity.
so we want that because right now, I mean, if they come in, gets everything all it's all complete, then we can move on to the next step, which is, all right, we're gonna bring in so many investors that were not exposed to this, but they don't want to deal with writing down their seed words, all this other stuff, and guess what's gonna happen? It's gonna funnel in so much money that, I mean, by then, I mean, I don't want to talk bad about Bitcoin, but I mean, we're not even gonna just think about them anymore, because
Yeah, I mean, the
they're
reality
gonna be
is, bro, is
relevant.
like it is dominating. It
Right.
does in the sense of dominating. It is dominating how the market moves. Things do move with it. You see the correlation. You can't deny it. Like everything is down because Bitcoin is down in reality. And the markets
But
are
see, here's the
reflexive,
but see, here's
right?
the
Like,
thing. But see, here's the thing. When the I don't want to say that because you're gonna get probably striked on the on your channel. Let's say
I'd say the pandy or something. Yeah,
the bug,
yeah,
when the
the
bug
bug.
showed up, Bitcoin and Hex went, and everything else in the market collapsed. When we saw that 3,000 going from 6,000 to 3,000 per Bitcoin, Hex took a really hard hit as well. But
Hmm.
guess who recovered faster?
Mm.
That's the main thing. That's the main that I mean, I get it. There's people in Hex that see the traditional markets as well, but Hex recovered a lot faster than anything else out there and ran up even higher than anything else. You can say Shiba did, but in reality, you're not even making more Shiba out of your Shiba.
Very true. That's the dynamic thing about Hex, the fact that like you're putting yourself in a position where you're earning interest no matter whether the
Right.
markets are going down or the markets are going up. Those t-shirts are super valuable. You can't, I mean, can you compare it to anything else out there?
No, I mean, one of the this is one of the things that I was going to tell you back when you why did you get into crypto, or aside from a mentor, I was looking for yield. I was
That
looking
was
for
your
yield.
focus. So you were looking for something specifically that
Yes,
was going to earn you interest.
absolutely. See,
Yeah.
here's the thing. My main business allows me to actually mingle with people that have a lot of money, right? Whether it's commercial line or residential. So growing up in that environment and providing a service for these homeowners or commercial line people, you start to learn that they're retired and they have how can I say is different income streams.
Yeah.
So whether that's real estate, whether that's dividends, but they always I was always around that idea of like have passive income. But how? How do you have passive income?
Yeah.
Well, real estate is one of them. Dividends is one of them, and then yield through certain products, financial products. That's how you can do it. So when I saw that same concept in crypto, it was all scams. It was the BitConnects. It was the Gladia coins. It was the
I got
whatever
burned.
coins.
Yeah.
And I did that. I came into not in BitConnect, but I came into one of them. I put in my Bitcoins in. It was called Gladia coin, and they were offering 25 30%. I was like, holy smokes, you make that much. And then I jumped in because I was a noob, and then later on I started seeing like, wait, let me do some research behind this, because that sounds way too good. So I started seeing like, wait, do you have a what is your method of making yield? Do you
Mm-hmm. Can you
fractionalize
explain
it?
yield real quick for the people in the chat asking like what
Of
yield
course.
is exactly? Yeah.
Yes. So when it comes to a yield, different ways of explaining it, but a simple term is like, hey, you lend certain whether what you lend the money. That money is being used to do something else with that kind of money, and that central entity where you put in that money in gives you a return, whether that's
Like the
every two
best example
weeks,
would be
every
like
month.
owning a prop, like buying a home, renting out the home, you're making money on the home,
That,
essentially.
yeah, that's kind of like a basic example, but he's
Right.
asking about yield. Yield is more used in the financial
With
products for the most
assets,
part.
correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it assets. Yeah, but that's another way to like describing it as well. But
Hmm.
that's the yield part, and you're just making passive income that way. But then I realized, wait, they're portraying themselves as like they have a arbitrage bot in the background doing some funky stuff, and it's like,
Yeah, bro.
where's your
Anything with
arbitrage
a
bot?
robot,
Yeah, I was like, where's
stay
your
away,
arbitrage
bro.
bot? Where is it? Like, I started asking so many questions and I got kicked out from so many platforms. I'm like, wait. This is not sustainable. I
Hmm.
pulled out all my I mean, you couldn't pull out the whole stack, but I pulled out, let's say, 80% of what I had in there. And I'm so glad I did that, because after, like, I think it passed, I pulled out in September, and then right around November, that's when they started locking up accounts that you can't get
Mm,
your money out anymore. Or that website that you put in your money, it was just giving you like, yeah, it's no longer in service.
yeah,
So I was like, oh my gosh, I dodged a bullet there,
huge,
because
bro.
I could have lost my bitcoins there. So from that point forward, I was a little traumatized. I was like, wait, I don't want to lose these. So I'm gonna get my hardware wallet. I'm gonna secure them. If when they become $1 million each, then I'll start touching them.
Right.
But that was my main thing. I came in with the yield, man,
No,
because
that's
I had
crazy,
that I
bro.
had that idea.
That's crazy that you were that lucky to take it out, man. I mean, a lot of people don't. I mean, all right. So I'll say like this for us because Richard just talks about it all the time. Like, if not your keys, not your coins, take your
Right.
money off centralized exchanges. But bro, I remember in BitConnect, I was putting my money in these wallets, and I didn't have custody of them. Like, I wasn't able to control
Yeah.
them in the sense that I didn't have those private keys. Like, that didn't really stick with me from the very beginning. So it's very easy for a lot of brand new people to get involved, and they get burned in the not knowing, bro. Damn, that's crazy,
Yeah.
bro. So
Were
you
you in
take it
BitConnect?
out. Yeah, I got in, bro. Unfortunately, I mean, I was thankfully I didn't have much at the time, but it was like $1,000 something, bro.
Bro,
What's funny? It was Trevon that actually had. I was seeing him on YouTube and he was getting into that, and I'm sure it was the beginning for him too. I'm sure that Jerron didn't do it with malicious intent. You feel me? I think we were all under the same impression. It was something new for all of us.
yeah,
But
but I
he just
mean,
got into it very early.
yeah,
You know,
as a leading voice, you have to do your research at the same time. That's the
that's
main
true.
thing, because
Very
then
true.
you're
Yeah,
doing
he
it
was
the cert.
making videos and yeah.
I'm not against the guy, but I have a tendency of like not really paying attention to him. Yeah, he can be funny, but
Hmm.
if you have a leading voice in YouTube, wherever you have a following,
Yeah.
you should do them a solid and do your research as well.
Facts.
And
Facts.
I mean, because I mean, let's be real, man. A lot of people have a lot of things going on in their lives. They don't have time to be doing none of this. This stuff is not sexy. It's not, but it can make you rich. That's for sure.
It
But
can
I
make you
mean,
sexy.
you have to do your due diligence. You have to, especially if you have a voice.
Nah, I feel you. It's like me, like when I first, because had a trading background. That's like me, a few months into trading, making YouTube videos and stuff. You know what I mean? Start teaching people without really like an understanding or, getting into crypto when I first got in and then just teaching people
And
about, you know,
that's very honorable though, because you're
yeah,
actually like, hey, you're just starting. You might not know everything, but you are actually guiding people that have a huge question mark in their head. Like, what, how, when? Like,
yeah. I feel like now that I know more, of course, I have more
right.
than enough. I have certainty in what I know and who I know and the things that I'm doing to be able to guide people in that sense. But yeah, no, from the very beginning, I probably wouldn't have been doing that. And yeah, a lot of people got burned. If it wasn't with BitConnect, if it wasn't with these other projects, I mean,
And you know
that
what? It had to be done. It had to be. You have to go through that learning process, because
I feel
I
you.
mean, I put in some money on certain things that really didn't work out. Yeah, there were coins that I later on I found, I was like, wait, that was kind of silly. But you learn. You learn from there. Pick up what you learn. Have that experience. That experience was your tuition to go further and not do it again.
Facts. And bro, so not no financial advice, right? Not that you're telling people what to do with their money, but like, is it even worth diversifying away from crypto right now because of the way that things are moving? Like, bro, the returns that we're seeing in cryptocurrency are so insane. And look, I mean, if maybe you come from like a real estate background, right? Like, I wanted to get into real estate. It's something I still want to do, but I struggle to think of the idea of taking my money out of Hex and buying a home with it to rent it out or do an Airbnb, because I know I'm not going to be making the same amount of money that if I just kept it there and I had T-shirts working for me. Do you struggle with diversifying at all? Like, or do you think it's worth it?
Let me tell you one thing. I was always thinking about the same, buying real estate. But the more I learn about, like, you just can't beat crypto. You just can't.
Yeah,
And if you
100%.
do it, whatever you buy right now, or even in the near future, whatever you buy in real estate, don't get me wrong. I'm a big proponent of real estate.
Mm-hmm.
It's if you know how to handle your the how do you buy a certain real estate in certain states, taking the tax advantages. I totally
Yeah, of
understand
course.
that. I get
Yeah,
it. Like, you pay yourself, you're still the house being paid off. But again, that $1 million T-share, how much do you think is going to pay in 2 to 3 years or 4 years?
mm-hmm.
It's not a question of if. Of course, no financial advice. We're talking about mathematical. Like, hey, it can get there because
Right.
it just keeps going up. The T-share rate keeps going up, and it's just a matter of time. Like, hey, you get the inflation plus the penalties. And keep in mind, like, just imagine like buckets of like liquid gold just dropping into your buckets every single day, and then
Yeah.
by the time whenever you need it, you just buy whatever you want. So I follow one guy on YouTube. He's just a straight up baller. The guy even says, like, I don't even think real estate is even good right now. I'd much rather be like these crypto kids that go get their backpacks and travel the world and just have the power at the palm of their hands with crypto.
It's powerful. I'm a
But I
big
mean,
advocate for
But I
cryptocurrency.
mean
I think
that,
you should. I think you
yeah,
should own a home. I think it's cool. I mean, but then again, I don't know if you know Andrew Tate. He think like he's. I mean, he's a successful guy. He owns his businesses and stuff.
that's
But
the
he
guy I'm
brought up
talking
this
about.
point. Oh, okay. So look at there you go, right? So like Andrew, right? He says that it's not even worth maybe sometimes even hold like having real estate in certain places if you're a digital nomad. You're putting yourself where governments can tie you down. A lot of regulation
Right.
problems, right? If a government decides to do something and take your home, like I'm Colombian right now, right? And I was talking to my stepdad. I've been Colombian. I'm Colombian, but I was talking to one of my to a stepdad of mine, and we are having this conversation, and we were just discussing about like purchasing real estate in another country. And I don't know if you realize, but recently the president, a leftist president, just got elected in Colombia,
Yeah.
and he is a socialist. So like this guy, he has the ability right now with his kind of ideas to be able to, for example, if he wants to grab a piece of land like in Medellin and force you to give up that land to like the farmers. You feel me? Like if you had land that
Oh,
you were given and you wanted to build a home on there, he can force you, take your land away, and then give it to the farmers so that they can start growing and then reduce the imports that are coming into the to the country by simply just growing it there. So it's these ideas that like you have to kind of consider, because if something changes where you own your properties, everything
yep.
changes through the way you move, and it's just more stress, right? As opposed to like having a crypto asset and that's it. So I get it.
Exactly.
I feel it. I feel
Yeah,
it
that's a
100%.
slippery slope, man.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, bro. I mean, the situation over there, I'm not gonna get too deep into that, but I mean, it just makes you think twice before taking any type of action, right? It makes you want to do your research, which is what I always tell people, man. Make sure you're in there, whether it's crypto, whether it's real estate, you know what you're doing, because, man, I almost bought some real estate in Colombia. I was out there for 3 months last year in 2021, and
Uh-huh.
bro, I was this close to getting something, but I was like, nah, screw it. I put the money into crypto, and I was like, this is where I need to be right now. I'm gonna focus on this. I'm gonna secure my bag, and then in the future, I'll worry about that. So, but yeah, that's just
Right.
me.
And
Yeah,
then
man.
that's if you just never know who you're gonna piss off. If you wanna really exercise your voice, I don't think you should be buying something that's gonna lock you down. And like you're saying, like how Andrew was saying, you
Mhm.
can lock yourself up in a country that potentially they can be like, hey, you know what? We don't like you. We're gonna take your property, your assets, and all this. I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
you can't do that with my crypto though.
facts.
And guess
Good
what?
luck finding
You're
it.
you're
Good luck
yeah,
finding
exactly.
it, my man.
Exactly. So it's a beautiful
Oh
thing to
my
have
god.
the power in the palm of your hand. That's
True.
the thing that really, like, people think like, oh yeah, yeah, we're gonna go to the moon, man, and all this other stuff. Bro, look at the advantages. Your sovereignty over your own money is very important. Your
Mhm.
privacy is very important. Your ability to
And
move
people have
without
been
actually,
they've been
yeah.
programmed to give it away, bro.
Yep,
Like
yep.
I remember before Apple, before they dropped iOS 14, and some guys in e-commerce had some problems too with like being able to sell things online and like collecting people's data, because
There you go.
they started being very restrictive on people's privacy. People, you were able to give away, like it was almost like forced. Like they knew where you lived, your age, everything without even your
Oh hell
consent.
no.
And people don't understand that up until a certain point, it was almost like they were deciding for you what the value of your information was. And that privacy, now I think the conversation is a lot bigger. Even if you look at Apple's commercials, bro, they have a big focus on privacy, right? And I think that that's something that people should kind of get into as well, like understanding like, yo, how private am I being? You feel me? Like, what am I putting out there? What am I letting people know without even knowing? um and that's
But you know
huge, bro.
what? Americans are so spoiled. They don't understand, like, to be living under fear from not only a dictatorship or fear of criminal organizations, how how hard they can come down on you if they know everything about you. They don't understand that because I mean, you just don't see that here.
Hmm.
But once you start seeing that, that's why, like, hey, if you travel, you start realizing these things. Or if you come from a country that struggled like that, you understand it very vividly. Those are some of your freedoms that you're just giving it away like it's just whatever.
Yeah.
Not here though. Not with these. I mean, to understand that, it's just opening your eyes to a different way of thinking. But a lot of people are not ready for it until it's like, hey, if they're it's coming down on you, then you're kind of forced.
Yeah, man. Look, so we're I mean we're closer than ever to Pulse Chain launch, and bro, I'm sure you're excited about that.
Oh yeah.
But what are some projects, bro, that you're hoping to make it over to PLS in that first month? Is there anything that you're excited to see move over?
Well, I'm pretty excited about the Shiba guys because they have a huge community out there, and I've been
Hmm.
talking to some of them, and we have, I think, the guy that has the main account that I think has like multiple millions of followers. That's gonna be coming to the PulseCon. And so we want to give them a warm welcome because hey, I know a lot of people on Hex are very against other tokens other than hacks and everything. I mean, it's pretty obvious. They're pretty militant. But I'm like, bro, like it's their money. Let them do whatever they want. Like
Yeah.
people go to casinos. You're not gonna run up to them and yell at their face, like,
Like, no, put
don't
it in
do that.
black.
You're stupid. What are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
stop being acting like a damn child and let them. I mean, yeah, show them the way. And if they don't like it, it's okay. You don't have to bash them. If they want to buy a collectible, let them buy a collectible. They like Shiba, whatever. But see, later on, these guys, since they're gonna be well taken care of out there in PulseCon, they're gonna start wondering like who put all this together.
Right.
Well, it was primarily all Hex people and Pulse people. And then they're gonna start wondering like, oh, well, what is all this stuff all about? Game over. But
Hmm.
yeah, I'm happy for the Shiba guys. I'm not too familiar with other coins, but hey, man, everybody's welcome to come in. And I mean, yeah, we had that Celsius incident, and then that's an
Yeah,
understatement
bro.
calling it an
We
incident,
can touch
but
up on that a little bit too. I think that's important to talk about, bro. That Celsius incident, it's a custody thing, bro. It comes back to that same conversation, right? Like making sure that
right,
you are the one that's holding your assets. That's why Hex is so special because it's trustless yield. It's all directly from your own wallet. You don't have to give anyone anything. You just interact with the code. You're
right.
trusting the code 100%. Um, and yeah, I mean, if you can elaborate a little bit on the whole Celsius thing, kind of like, how did you feel when you saw that happening? Did you expect it
Well,
almost, or?
I mean, I expected it just like everything else. But you can't be too vocal about it because everybody's gonna be coming down on you. And like I was saying, you gotta learn the hard way sometimes. But
Hmm.
but of course, if I had friends that had Celsius, I'll be like, pull that stuff out, like pull it out. Like
Yeah,
I'm not playing, pull it out. But I can't be like that with people that I don't even know. So what happened with Celsius, if nobody knows what happened, is that they were offering some yield. You put in your money into their centralized platform in in return for what? Almost 5 to 7%. I mean,
something like that, bro. It was honestly,
that's not even
if you
good.
were on their earn platform, yeah, some shit like that. You didn't even, you weren't even beating inflation.
You're not. And so that was the main thing. People were going in and just getting, like Richard says, picking up pennies in front of freight trains. Like,
Mhm.
why would you do that?
Yeah,
But I mean, it sucks because a lot of people, I heard some stories that they're putting their life savings, their kids' tuition in there, and it's disgusting because these guys are the guys talking smack about Hex. And
yeah,
I get it. I get why people in Hex get mad about these guys, but then again, I always tell the people that I know, is like, hey, stop giving them any clout to begin with. Don't do it. Like if you think you have the top 1%, top performer asset, why would you want to get dirty with the pigs in the mud? Don't do
yeah,
it. Hold yourself to a better standard. So just that's the number one thing people. There were some people that think they were from Celsius coming into PulseCon, and I don't know how they feel about it right now. But I mean, that's the thing. There's scams, there's frauds, but you can't stop them. I mean, it's Ethereum. We're gonna have the same thing in Pulse Chain. That doesn't mean Pulse Chain is bad. It's just that people are willing to use that kind of technology to benefit their own agenda.
yeah.
And
It
if it
comes with
comes down to it, yeah,
decentralization. Yeah,
it's like
it's a
the
part of
whole
it. People are gonna do what they
yeah,
want to do. They can build
it's
whatever
like
they
the
want to
it's like the
build.
whole gun argument. It's like of course people are gonna shoot up places. But in general, I
Mhm.
mean, it's a good thing to have
Yeah.
some enforce
You know,
your
it's funny.
right
I
to
was
bear
actually gonna
arms.
ask you. I have a question here. I was gonna ask you, like, do you believe in the
Sure,
Second Amendment?
of
I know you live in
course,
Cali, but I was gonna ask you, like, do you believe in the Second Amendment?
absolutely, man.
If
Yo,
you could
like
carry in Cali, would you do it?
yo, oh hell yeah, dude. I'm not gonna no comment, but I mean, yeah, I'm armed to the teeth, but
Yeah.
I mean, that's the mistake that Mexico did. I'm from Mexico. It's illegal to have a firearm. But then again, everybody down there has a freaking semi-automatic
Mm-hmm.
because not only to be like, of course, there's the bad guys, but I mean, we take a lot of pride into defending our family and our communities.
Yeah, bro.
Eh,
I have a buddy of mine. You know what's funny? I'm gonna read this because a buddy of mine he sent me a Bible verse, and I loved it. He goes, it's Luke 11:21 in the New King James Version of the Bible. It goes, "When a strong man fully armed guards his own palace, his goods are in peace." You feel me? And like
yes,
it's true, bro. If it's like, you want to defend yourself, we understand that they can do bad things, but ultimately you've seen the tyranny before, you've seen the bad people in this world. Evil will continue to exist as long as there's good.
of
You
course,
can't have one without the other. So why would you even allow for something like that to even be possible, right? By giving up
right,
your right to bear arms, man. And the reason why the United States is where it's at, the reason why we've had our exponential growth and we've risen as fast as we have, is because we have those 10 amendments, that the Bill of Rights, right, that the founding
right,
fathers set up. And to this day, bro, they're still holding us down. And I know it's a very touchy subject, people have different beliefs, but bro, I'm an American, bro. I was born and raised here. I'm Colombian just as much. You feel me? I have my culture's from there. I love that country to death. But there are definitely comparisons you can make between the two. You see what happens over there. You see what happens over here. You see the way that people think, and it solidifies me even more in what I believe in, bro. Like
right.
making sure that I take care of myself. I take care of my own, and I think people should feel the same way about that.
Because there's so many weak people running around. Like it has never been this low when it comes to guys, like men. Like where's the fighting spirit at?
Mm-hmm.
There's no fighting
Mm-hmm.
spirit anymore. Like, hey,
Yeah.
if I go out like before I'm 50, I don't really care. I lived. But I mean, I'm not gonna be on my knees, just be like, oh well, I don't know what's gonna happen, but yeah, I'm gonna be careful. Of course, do it within your own right. But like you're saying with that verse, protect what you love, your property and everything, your loved
Yeah, if
ones.
you can't live for something, you'll die for nothing, as they say,
Exactly.
right? Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah,
the
man.
that's the famous quote of Pancho Villa, I think.
Yes, yeah, something like that. The irony in that. But bro, so let me ask you this: like, what are your thoughts on the U.S. right now and inflation, man? I'm really curious about your thoughts on that topic.
Well, man, there are places that I didn't even know that they were doing some development, and there's houses everywhere, man. Like new houses, which kind of leads that same incident happened back in 2007 before everything went down. You just have a surplus of homes, but who's actually buying them?
Yeah, nobody
So
wants to buy. I mean,
that
it
comes
doesn't
up
make
with the
sense.
yeah,
Yeah, you have higher interest rates. I mean, your mortgages are going to be stupid high, and then if you jump into a fixed rate mortgage, variable rate, that's maybe, but even then, variable rate will probably still keep going up. Prices are
right.
high as hell. Yeah, bro. No,
I mean, I'll know
it's
more. You probably know more about this than I do when it comes to inflation, U.S. inflation. But man, like yeah, things are getting more expensive, and
yep. No, and you know
it's
what?
just
The
gonna get
numbers that they're
worse.
giving out are fake. They're fake
Yeah,
numbers, bro.
they're
Like
never gonna
it's
give you the right
BS.
numbers. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
BS, bro. It's like the numbers aren't real. You're seeing it, bro. Just today, I made a post about Chipotle. It's funny because I'm talking about
I saw
Chipotle,
that.
but the reality is that, bro,
Yeah,
and something as simple as a bowl, bro. When I was 18 years old, I was paying 702 for a bowl. Right now, I'm paying almost 80% more for that same bowl of chicken. You feel me? And
yep,
that's not because they're expanding. You feel me? It's because of the fact that it's costing them more to maintain those farms. And so, dude, it's like you're gonna see it everywhere else, and then the food is gonna be the craziest part, Brian. I honestly, I wish for the best, and I'm a very positive person, and that's why I preach what I preach. You feel me? Because at least
yeah,
I know I'm making a difference by telling people about this and warning them and telling them that they can do something. I'm not just gonna tell you to do. I'm not just gonna complain about something and then not give you a solution, right? The
Right.
solution is HEX. The solution is minting your own inflation, right? The solution is getting off of that dollar and diversifying with investments,
Right.
ultimately, right? But yeah, man, I mean, those numbers are so off. The inflation numbers are off. I think things are just getting way more expensive than they should. And then on
I,
top of that, you have prices
mhm.
going down, so your asset values are
Oh
going
yeah.
down. You're gonna say?
Right. Oh no no no. There's this doesn't make any of a difference on inflation, but I started to see I followed this metric that a lot of undocumented Mexican farmers, they're going back to Mexico. So there's a
Whoa.
big demand in workforce up here in the valley, where pretty much it's like the breadbasket of the world. And there's just not that many people who want to work in the fields anymore. I'm like, God, the U.S. is shooting themselves on the foot on that one because, yeah, I mean, after Mexico having better relationships with China, it kind of has it's they're starting to put in a way putting their stuff together more like, hey, let's bring some more jobs into Mexico. So that's why a lot of people are it's a negative
Like they'd
now
love
when it
to
comes to
live here,
migrants.
but they'd rather work there.
No, but also you got to put in the factor that a lot of these people haven't seen their families in so many years, so they're not even getting the little representation when it comes to like, hey, have some decent working conditions or anything like that. They're just like, hey, fuck this, we're
Mm,
leaving. So the majority of immigrants coming in, they're from other countries now. They're no longer Mexicans because they're going back to their homes and it's like, you know what, we would much rather work in the area that we're from because there's more improvement where we're at than actually like, hey, our families don't even see us anymore.
powerful, bro. That's
So
a really cool
I
perspective.
saw that. I've been seeing that recently in the past 5 6 years because I feel it. I feel it in my business as well. I mean, I try to like I have two guys that are residents here in the U.S. and they're working under me. And whenever you get like, hey, you want to help out a brother out and just give him a job that was illegally here, like you would just lend him a hand, like, hey, come in here, I'll take you under my wing and we'll make it happen.
Hmm.
But you can't even get them anymore. You can't. It's hard to find them.
Yeah.
So that might be playing another another factor into it. And even when I employ some other guys, American, like not all of them, but 1 out of 10, there's always like they're pretty good. But the other 9 guys, they're just there to pick up a paycheck and just leave.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro,
Yeah,
that's not gonna
I
happen
think
here.
that's gonna change though. I think that'll
I
change
hope so.
when things get tougher because when things start to get hard, like look, right? I saw an article and it's like when things get a little bit right now it's in the hands of the people, right? I feel like the people, the employees have almost like the power over the
Right,
business owner, right? They decide that they're working from home, right? They're having all these benefits, higher pay, all this stuff. And it's almost hard for a business owner to keep employees now because they have so much options. But once those
right,
options start to diminish, when things get tougher and people are forced to get back to work, it's going to be a completely different story. I think the power is going to shift back into the business owner's hands, and people are going to be forced to work under the conditions that they're being told to work under. You feel me? But that's only going to make people work harder because ultimately that's how it should be, right? The business owner
yeah,
takes all the responsibility, all the liability, and then you
right,
have the employees that are there to benefit off of the fruits being made ultimately. But you want people to work, man. And look, I feel you on that. I have people that that I want to work with, things that I want to do. And I don't like I sometimes don't like saying it because I'm very big on it's a belief system, it's what you think. But the
right,
reality is almost like, bro, I don't see people as hungry as I was willing to work for free. You feel me? I was
bro.
willing to do whatever it took to get around the right people, to do what I had to do, to make sure I was learning, because the value of what I was gonna get from someone that knew more than me was more important than the paycheck. I could go hungry,
well,
bro. Shit, he
well,
might
let
feel
me,
bad for me, give me something to eat, but
yeah,
what the value I just couldn't get anywhere
right.
else.
Well, let me ask you this: Did you did you grow up like in a like not with all the luxuries and everything? Did you
Yeah, bro. I
struggle
mean,
when you were young?
I grew up in a very not poor, but like I was talking about it with my brother, bro. We technically we grew up like hoodish. It was kind of like the hood. It was just not the hood because Florida's very weird like that. Like, it has its bad parts, it has its good parts.
Right,
But ultimately, like we grew up in the hood. You feel me? Like everybody was just making ends meet. It was a bunch of Hispanic families. Nobody was really focused on like saving or investing. The kids were playing outside and all that stuff. It was a different time. You feel me? It was just completely different.
Right.
But no, I didn't
But
have like the parents that taught me about
yeah,
investing or anything like that.
I think you have to learn that on your own for the most
I
part.
did, bro. I joined network marketing. That's what it was for me. I joined network marketing and I started
Ah,
reading
okay.
books. Yeah, network marketing helped me a lot because it got me reading books and it got me around the right people. That's how I found out about cryptocurrency to begin with. But
Nice.
ultimately, the rest was on me, bro. It's the discipline. I just said I'm not gonna be broke, bro. So I didn't
No,
want to do it. Well, that
that's
and then
yeah.
also I didn't want to work for anybody. I've always told myself
Ah,
like I didn't so how can I say this right? My goal was always to be financially free. It was never to be a doctor. It was never to be like a lawyer. I never had that vision of like being something. But I always knew I wanted to be financially free where I didn't have to worry about money, right? And honestly,
right.
look, let's be honest, being financially free doesn't mean you're a millionaire. You can be
Right, right.
financially free and by just earning 4,000 a month and you're spending 3,000 a month. You feel me?
Yep.
Like that's it. That's literally what it takes to be financially free. You're at a surplus of 1,000. You're saving 1,000 every single month. You're financially free. It doesn't take a lot. You don't have to be a millionaire for that.
Right.
But
The
that
reason I had to
understanding
ask
got me
that,
there.
yeah. The reason I had to ask that because it's I can pretty much know exactly like how at least not like, not know exactly what you're thinking, but where your mind is at if you struggled when you were a child.
Yeah.
So when you struggled the most, that's when you know it's like, hey, every day it's like I'm so happy to be alive. God damn. Like getting out there and just making it happen, it's even a more of an opportunity because
Yeah.
I grew up like that. I
Yeah.
grew
And
up dirt poor.
it's huge too, bro. I think with Hispanics you see it a lot too because we grow up and we're hey, what's going on, Toato? I'm on live right now. How you doing? Yeah, thank you, man. But yeah, so like for me, I'm super. I just the way I see things sometimes. Like when I grew up, I was just really focused on on like just being that financially free person, right? But then as I got older and I started doing my own thing, I really started to realize that the more that I worked towards something, my mindset was everything. There's so many people
Oh,
out there, bro, that when they grow up, it's like, oh, I had an alcoholic father, so now I drink alcohol. Or, oh, I had an alcoholic father, so now I don't drink alcohol at all. I stay away from it. It's the perspective. People grew up with
right,
this victimhood mentality and they feel like people owe them something. And I never allowed myself to be that. And it doesn't matter where you're from. Sometimes, man, when you feel like a victim, when you fall and you feel like you're this person that, the world owes you something, bro, the world doesn't owe you shit, especially as a man. As a
right,
man in this world, like if you don't like men's love is completely conditional on the conditions of them being a provider, them being someone that can give something. If you are a deadbeat person, right, ultimately as a man, and this is your traditional man, if you're a deadbeat person and you're not providing and doing something to help your family, no woman's gonna want you. They're gonna look for the next man that can. You feel me? Like that's
right.
just the way it is. And so when I understood what it was to be a man, I understood that okay, this is what I have to get done. And I feel like just we don't have that many men out there anymore, bro. There's not that many people out there just working their butt off. I mean, women, completely different story. I could speak on it. I mean, I'm pretty sure you can speak on it too. I don't want to go too deep into that
Nah,
conversation
women
because that's a rabbit hole. But yeah, you're gonna say?
no women are they're born with the value already. We're the ones
Yeah,
who have to
yeah.
acquire that value.
Mm-hmm.
I totally understand
No,
that.
yeah.
That's how we are. I mean, our cultures are they're pretty similar. I mean, if you're not a somebody, I mean, society's just gonna push you to the side, and you're not gonna get what you want if you don't strive to be a better version every single day.
Definitely, definitely, bro. Nah, it's huge, bro. I agree with that 100%. And look, man, I mean, we've talked about everything. We've talked about Pulse Chain. I mean, we talked about the economy. We talked about, I mean, business. I mean, we've gone over a lot of things, man. Is there anything you wanted to touch up on? Anything you wanted to bring up before we wrapped up?
Yeah. What are your main goals? What are you like not only in streaming crypto and business in general? Like what are your
Mhm.
main goals? Because I like to actually validate people based on their goals, but at the same time, it's like, hey, we already had this conversation. I know where you're at. I know what. Even though we hanged out a little bit in Miami,
Yeah,
I like it's very important because it's like you're saying, like there's just I don't think there's not much competition out there when it comes to. I mean, I can portray it as competition, but really, like we need to get together. It doesn't matter what crypto you're in or anything like that, because
yeah,
it's
I
more
agree.
like an idea that let's take back of what we're all about, and
Hmm.
that's it. All comes down to your freedom, your privacy, your sovereignty. So I just want to know more about like what are your main goals in general.
Yeah, I mean, look, bro, my long-term goals, I'm gonna be honest. I mean, ultimately, I want a family. I want a home. I want to be able to, take care of my mom. I want to retire my mother. Like those are my long-term goals, right? And it's ironic that you asked me that question because I feel like short-term, my goals have changed. They've kind of shifted, and I feel like they've shifted with the bear market. I don't know if you feel what I feel, but the bear market, bro, it just gets you hungry. You feel me?
Yep.
I feel right now, bro, like dog, like that first year I started network marketing, it feels like that first time I got that job at Apple, you feel me? Like it feels like that. It feels like, damn, like there's something that I'm working towards right now. There's something right now that I need to attain, right? And there's so much opportunity. That's what the bear market has me feeling like right now. And so as far as goals, one, the biggest goal is of course growing cash flow amigos, because cash flow amigos right now is that impact that I feel like I'm making that's bigger than me. I don't think it's so much
Right.
about me. I don't care about how many people are in there. I think it's if it's 6 people or 6,000 people, it makes zero difference to me. I'd rather focus on helping 6 people than getting on a live stream trying to market it. That's just the type of person that I am. So as far as like making an impact in the short term, I feel like right now I have the best opportunity by growing cash flow amigos. And then, the second goal would ultimately be, I mean, honestly, bro, building something. And I just can't seem to put my hand on that just yet because there's so much right now, Mitchell, like there's so much right now. Like I look at you right now working on the convention. I hear guys right now working on on a cryptocurrency asset, right? Look at the guys building Maximus and what they're doing and the things that they know. Honestly, bro, I think my goal right now is to work with people and to serve. I think that's where my mindset is at right now because that's what I did when I was at the very beginning, and that's what's always worked for me. Being there for people, serving, and just focusing on that. So wherever I feel like I can align with people, I think God's gonna put those people into my life, and we're gonna move forward, bro. That's ultimately my goal right now. Between cash flow amigos and
Nice.
just serving, that's kind of where I'm at. How about you, bro? I'll shoot you the same question.
Well, before I get to my thing, you pointed out something very important, that even though we're going into a bear market, you just want to grind it out right now, short term. But you know something, you asked me something very important as well. Like, what did you feel when you had that sudden wealth syndrome?
Hmm.
And you know what? It kind of got back to me what you were saying right now, because when I was at that point, that hey, look at this account, look at all these other accounts, I told myself, well, I miss the days that I was working my rear off, man.
Yeah,
Because that I had fun. I legit I had fun being out there in the trenches.
facts.
Now I'm sitting like at that point when it was like 50 cents per hex. Now I'm sitting at the top, like, okay, now what? If I don't
I got that
stay
same
like
feeling, my brother.
grinding, if I don't stay consistent, busy, doing something, doesn't have to be business or anything. Like, travel, go hang out with the ladies. Like, hey, do something. Like, be a better person in general. Like, go out and start at the gym, or start doing like a boxing class or something. Like,
Yeah.
I like to get out there and do that, because the minute you start getting comfortable, that's when you fuck up.
And that's where
The
I was in
moment, yep,
2021, bro. When I was in Colombia, that was me.
you once you get to that
Hmm.
comfort zone is gonna be your biggest downfall. So don't get comfortable. You
Yeah.
always have to push a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Now, when you come to the realization that you become a millionaire, a lot of people will become a millionaire. then you start to wonder, like, oh my gosh, like it's gonna get easier from there because you just made a milestone that it's not really doable for a lot of people, especially when it comes to crypto. Because when it comes
Yeah.
to all the rug pulls and all that stuff, but that's really important that you say that because that's how I felt. I was like, now what? Now what?
Yeah.
Because I want to push myself more. I want to do that, and
No,
that's
and
where
it's good to,
I
bro.
had the most fun.
It's good to. I think I think it comes back naturally. I mean, it's your mindset, bro. Ultimately, to when you get to the top, to take a moment to enjoy. I think everybody deserves it. I think
Oh, of
everybody
course.
can take the foot off the gas a little bit. And
But that's a very strong characteristic of a real man.
yeah,
You're always
facts.
pushing. You're always
Hmm.
pushing. You're trying to get better because there's always something like, hey, you can do much more than this. Because we're conquerors. Like we're we have to have that mentality.
I agree with you, bro. And right now I feel like more than ever, bro, that hunger's there. I want to put my best foot forward. And honestly, bro, I mean, I think the future is bright. Mitch, I think the future is really bright, bro, for you and for me. Likewise, bro, we got a lot of great things coming.
Absolutely.
PulseCon's coming up soon. You convinced me, bro. This conversation, I'm gonna make my way out there, bro. I know it's funny because I've been seeing things. I've been seeing things that just been like ever since you told me, yo, bro, you got to make it out to Vegas. You got to make that out to Vegas. I was like, bro, just things have been telling me I'm gonna be there, bro. I'm gonna be there in September because it's just little things like that make the whole difference. That just change up everything, bro. The conversations, the networking,
Right.
especially. Got to get back into that, man. Got to get back in the
Bro, like
trenches, as you said.
I roll with a very small group of people, and I don't really like. I can be on Twitter every now and then, but I am not like all like I don't like too much like having too much attention. Like I'll give my attention to certain people because
Yeah,
but when it comes to hanging out, like you can tell Kareem, like he's one of the guys that he's out there with me
I
every
love
now
that
and
guy.
then. Yeah, he's a
Yeah.
little bit too much, but but I mean it's within like that's us. Like that's how we are. Like we just like to hang out, like keep it a small circle for the most part. And I want to bring you into our circle because it's like, hey, you get to know people that are like, hey, like what I was telling you, you grab the best of each person and then you do whatever you want to do with that information to your advantage, however you want to put it. But yeah, man, Vegas is gonna be crazy because I mean, we just want to give everybody like, hey, this is your home. Like whenever you feel like you're not like nobody's paying attention out there, or like you just want to be a part of something bigger, like the just come into our camp because that's gonna be
Facts.
later on in a couple of years. People are gonna be looking at that event and be like, oh my gosh, like what are those guys doing?
I
But
agree
yeah,
with you, bro.
that's for the most part, man. Like yeah, I wasn't like trying to like be like pushy or anything because I don't like to push people. Like, hey, I want you to be there, but if you can, hey man, I'll be more than happy to accommodate you or anything. Let
Nah,
me
at
know.
all, dude. I mean, when you said it, it was more so like a sign. You feel me? Because it was something I was considering, but nah. I mean, just this between this conversation when we spoke, I'm so up for it, guys. If you haven't already, this is the website for PulseCon, PulseCon2022.com. Check it out yourself. Look at the keynote speakers, look at the people that are going to be there. If you guys want tickets, you can get tickets up here. Mitch, do you have a code that you can share with people?
Yeah, you can get 15% off of any ticket that you like on their promo code Mitch MITCH.
Mm-hmm.
That's Mitch MITCH. Just put it in when it's asking you when you want to purchase your desired ticket, and then you just go from there. If you want to hit me up on Twitter or anything, you want me to help you out or if any way possible, like hey, like are you guys having this in PulseCon or anything or any accommodations? Just feel free to hit me up and on Twitter, and then I'll try to see what I can do. But because I'm I can only do so much because I'm a partial owner. I don't want to be stepping on my other partners either. But
Nah,
I'll
of
do my
course, man.
best. I'll do my best.
That's perfect, man. But yo, bro, Mitch, I appreciate you, bro. Once again, happy birthday, dude. I appreciate you
Thank you.
coming on today, man, and just honestly the conversation, bro. I always love connecting with new people, and yeah, man. I mean,
Bro,
let's keep it
anytime,
going.
man. I mean, anytime. I'd like to see your channel grow, and anything I can do for you to get to the wherever you want to be, let me know, man. I mean, that's what it comes down to. Like, just partner out with people that really have a mission, and they just don't want to. I mean, as soon as you start like
getting people what they want, eventually you get what you deserve.
I feel you on that. I feel you on that, bro. Hey, once again, you're more than welcome to come here anytime. Whenever you want to share anything with anyone, this platform is available to you, bro. So, guys, thank you so
Appreciate
much for
that.
tuning in. I appreciate you. I think we don't have any more questions, so we'll just tune out. Thank you guys so much. Take care. See you on the next one.
Later, guys.